The menace of terrorism remains to be the single biggest obstacle in upholding the international peace and security for the entire world. However, the situation in South Asia has worsened steadily as its recent history has been marred by routine terror attacks. Recently, the Sydney-based Institute for Economics and Peace has published the Global Terrorism Index 2019 that states the widespread impact of terrorism in South Asian region, a report.
Terrorism in all its forms continues to pose a direct threat to security and prosperity of South Asian countries and its people. Recently, the Sydney-based Institute for Economics and Peace released the Global Terrorism Index 2019 that ranks 163 countries according to the impact of terrorism based on factors such as the number of attacks, fatalities, injuries, and the extent of property damage. It reveals that 3 South Asian countries, India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, are among the top 10 countries worst affected by violence and are constantly emerging as the hotbed of terror attacks.
It's very, very unfortunate that because of one particular country in this region, that is Pakistan, both India and Afghanistan have also become sufferers and victims of terrorism. It is Pakistan which is the fountainhead of terrorism, which is breeding terrorism, which is financing and training the terrorists, and then sending them across the border, not only to Afghanistan and India, but also to Iran. It is pure bad luck of India and Afghanistan that they have such a shameless neighbor like Pakistan.
Afghanistan has become the world's deadliest country due to the escalation of war and constant terror attacks. In a recent act of violence, a Japanese doctor, Tetsu Nakamura, who devoted decades of his life in helping people of Afghanistan, was killed along with 5 others in a gun attack on his vehicle. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe expressed grief over this attack and said that he is shocked to hear about doctor's death.
Nakamura 先生は医師として医療分野において
Dr. Nakamura has made many contributions in the field of medicine and irrigation. We know his life-risking efforts in dangerous areas have been appreciated by the people in Afghanistan. It is very shocking to hear that he has passed away in such an incident. I would like to express my deepest condolences.
According to this report, Taliban in Afghanistan has become the world's deadliest terror group, which accounted for 38% of all 7,379 deaths in 2018.
In Afghanistan, the situation is very bad. It's once again Pakistan-sponsored Taliban and the Haqqani network which is creating mayhem in Afghanistan. Apart from destroying the public property, infrastructure, frequent bomb attacks by the Taliban are also claiming precious lives of the Afghans. Afghans are being killed and maimed at will by the Taliban terrorists. Situation in Afghanistan is so bad that people dare not come out of their own houses.
India doesn't remain unaffected by the wrath of terrorism. According to Global Terrorism Index, with 350 Indians killed and 540 injured in 748 terrorist incidents, India has been ranked 7th in the countries suffering the most deaths from terrorism in 2018. While the number of terrorist attacks has increased by 14% over the same period, peaking in 2016 at over 900, the attacks are becoming less bloody with a lower fatality rate in 2018. The report states, with the presence of Islamist, communist and separatist groups like Hizbul Mujahideen, all active in the country on Pakistan's finances, India faces a wider threat of terror attacks. Jammu and Kashmir remained the most impacted Indian region by terrorism in 2018, with 321 attacks resulting in 123 deaths, most of which were perpetrated by the Hizbul Mujahideen, Jaish Mohammad and Lashkar-e-Taiba.
These are the Pakistan-sponsored and Pakistan-trained groups which are again creating mayhem in Kashmir. But in Kashmir, the situation is not as bad as it used to be because the Indian security forces have gained control. They have an upper hand now. They have launched successful anti-terror operations. They have not only killed the terrorists, but they have also laid their hands on the overground workers, and they are trying to finish the terrorists and the terror support network. Also, the action taken by the Government of India to put a tap on terror funding and terror financing has impacted the Pak-sponsored terrorism in Kashmir to quite a bit. But Pakistan continues to maintain terrorism as an instrument of state policy.
According to the report, Pakistan's continued support to terror outfits is leading to its devolution, as the country itself is reeling under barbaric terror attacks, with 366 terror attacks carried out in 2018.
It is the Pakistan Army, the Pakistan government, which created these terror groups, which financed them, which trained them, and now they are starting treating them as good terrorists and bad terrorists. You cannot have good terrorists and bad terrorists. Terrorists are terrorists. But in Pakistan, those who toe the line of the ISI, those who toe the line of the Pakistan government or the Pakistan Army, they are being treated well. They are being treated as the state guests and static recesses of the state, and the others are being hounded and killed by the Pakistan Army. And that is why the resentment in Pakistan, and Pakistan itself is becoming a victim of such a large number of terror attacks.
In today's globalized world, no country is immune to the threat of terror attacks. Attacks on Indian paramilitary, Easter Sunday bombings in Sri Lanka, and sustained Taliban offensive in Afghanistan are clear manifestations of this ever-growing scourge and a grim reminder that terrorists are constantly plotting against people, no matter which part of the world they are living in.